demanded that His Excellency the President and his Vice President take steps to construct their bad roads. Shockingly, to me and to most Ghanaians, President Akufo-Addo told them to go ahead and vote MPP out of office if they so please. Mr. Speaker, this is despicable and should not be encouraged. When President Akufo-Addo reluctantly visited the victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage at Mepe last year, Mr. Speaker, he literally told them that it was a waste of his time, considering that they did not vote for him and his party. Mr. Speaker, again, this is despicable and should not come from a president. Not too long ago, without any provocation, President Akufo-Addo directed his unpresidential remarks to the chiefs of Ekumfi in the central region. He told the chiefs and people of Ekumfi that this government, his government, decided to neglect them and halt development projects in that area because they voted his party's member of parliament out in the last general elections. So, Speaker, where did we go wrong? So, Speaker, why should this happen? And why should the president do this to the people of Ghana? Right, Honorable Speaker, some Ghanaians have unjustifiably, and the Speaker, demanded that this matter should be continued. And the Speaker, if you are to check the background of these Ghanaians who are making this call, they are largely supporters of the MPP government. Mr. Speaker, rightfully so, another group of Ghanaians are calling on His Excellency the President to be impeached on the back of some of these comments that he has made. Mr. Speaker, they are only right. They are only right because, Mr. Speaker, the President has no basis to do what he's been doing. Right, Honorable Speaker, media freedom has equally been spared in the last few years. Mr. Speaker, media freedom is going haywire. The media has come under West crackdown in the Fourth Republic as a state-sponsored attack on journalists and raids on media houses continue. The recent Press Freedom Index by Reporters Without Borders highlighted Ghana's decline in press freedom on the watch of President Akufo-Addo and his Vice President Alhaji Bawumia. While Ghana ranked second in Africa and 26th in the world on the Press Freedom Index in 2016, our dear country now ranks 9th in Africa and 62nd in the world in the year 2023. As we approach the 2024 general elections, the safety of journalists, Mr. Speaker, remains a major concern. The corruption scorecard of this Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government is as terrible as it can get. In fact, the evidence as supported by the public perception and the realities bears us out. As the Catholic Bishops' Conference put it rightly, there is a massive, uncontrolled corruption in this administration. Mr. Speaker, this is according to the words of the Catholic Bishop Conference. Right, Honorable Speaker, Ghana has been declining in the Global Rule of Law Index from the rank of 34 in 2016 to 61 in 2023. In this government, corruption and impunity has taken place of the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, corruption and impunity has replaced rule of law in this government. Rather, the fight against corruption has rather been defeated. Rather, Mr. Speaker, instead of this government fighting corruption head-on, as they promised, President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia has fought and silenced and defeated most corruption fighters. Rather than making corruption a high-risk venture for government officials, they have made the fight against corruption a high-activity for anti-corruption crusaders. Mr. Speaker, this is the true state of our governance. Right, Honorable Speaker, new scandals emerge every day, as if this government has been cursed with scandals. Every single day, there's a new scandal. Mr. Speaker, you recall that under the so-called revenue assurance and reckless, wasteful Akufo-Addo government has awarded a contract worth $100 million every year to a company called SML. Mr. Speaker, when Parliament decided to investigate this matter, the President took over that matter and said he's investigating it in 2 weeks. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, it's over a month, in fact, 6 weeks. Ghana is still waiting for the report. Mr. Speaker, however long it takes, Parliament will do its work by investigating this dubious SML contract awarded by GRA and the Ministry of Finance. Last year, Mr. Speaker, we witnessed arguably the biggest man-made disaster that ever befell our nation as a result of the Akosombo Dam spillage. Many months on, Mr. Speaker, there has been no official assistance from the Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia government to the affected people of this disaster. In all these places that this matter occurred, it has taken the instrumentality of members of parliament, largely from the NDC side, and generous Ghanaians, particularly businessmen and groups that kept on supporting this community. The affected communities and regions have yet to recover from this disaster. Yet, the disaster, as we see, the government of the day has not done anything for them. Mr. Speaker, and it was surprising to note that His Excellency the President failed to pronounce or make simple pronouncement on this matter during his message on the state of the nation. Mr. Speaker, this is unacceptable. This is insensitive. Mr. Speaker, this is heartless. The legacy of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government has been, Mr. Speaker, to overboard. This government will be remembered for destroying indigenous banks. This government will be remembered for domestic and international haircuts. This government will be remembered for destroying many Ghanaian families through dreadful economic policies, particularly high taxes. So, Speaker, this is the true state of our nation. Our country is today bankrupt. Our country has today defaulted in the payment of its debts. So, Speaker, today, Yentumintia is the order of the day. We can't simply service our debt. So, Speaker, never in the history of our country have we gone to this level. So, Speaker, today we have a default economy. We have a haircut economy. We have a debt-riddled economy. We have an overtaxed economy. We have a high inflation economy. We have a high food inflation economy, a high monetary policy rate economy, a high lending rate economy, a high unemployment economy. Mr. Speaker, extremely high youth unemployment economy. Mr. Speaker, misery, in other words, ahochire is the order of the day. Mr. Speaker, misery, in other words, ahochire is the order of the day. The misery index has gone to the roof. Mr. Speaker, the misery only measures the level of ahochire in the system. Mr. Speaker, today, ahochire is the order of the day. Right Honorable Speaker, we have today a collapsed state-owned enterprise. Mr. Speaker, I've given you a list. We have today a cocoa sector that has been collapsed completely. Mr. Speaker, there is a massive uncontrolled corruption in this administration. Mr. Speaker, this is the true state of our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah.